So nice to have Ellie here, isn't it? You just bless us. What a voice. I don't want to cry here. Every time you sing, I cry. So, that was a great treat to wake up and find out this morning that Ellie would be here. And it's also a special Sunday because we're finally ending the sermon saga that actually went on for 12 weeks, if you include my 2 weeks vacation, which is like one of the legs of the quest. The quest is broken up into 4 parts of 12 weeks each, and I said, wow, I never did this on a Sunday before. And it was a little bit difficult to maintain the energy. Look around. You know, I think I've lost a few of you along the way. But I'm going to talk today about why I did it and why I think it was important that we shared it together. And I really thank those of you who were here and went the whole journey with me. Because we really had a rare opportunity to share together the testing and the proving of some of the universal truth principles that we talk about week in and week out. And unless you are going to one of the programs like the Quest or the 4T Prosperity Program or Chris Hogan's program, the 12 Weeks Unstoppable you may not always get the opportunity to delve more deeply than just hearing a talk about it and to really take it into your life and to practice it. And that's what we've been able to do with Pam Grout's E-Squared book. So I'm so grateful to her. So grateful for this information, this opportunity to do it. So here we are, the final week, the final experiment. Experiment number 9, the loaves and the fishes principle, which was such a beautiful principle to practice and to prove the last week. Yes, that really we live in this sublime world that is filled with wonder and beauty. And all we were asked to do for 48 hours was to take note of it, to see it, to open up our eyes, to be aware of it, to know it, and to record it. Now I know some of you might have kept your journals, you may not have, we'll find out in a minute. But as always, I'm going to go first with my lab report. And as always, I procrastinated until 48 hours ago. I started Friday morning at 9 a.m. and went through to this morning at 9 a.m. I just started to take note of the beauty, the wonder, the blessings in my life. So number one of my mom's caretakers, our very own Nancy Minto, there she is in the back, took a cab Friday morning from Worcester to Paxton to be on time for work when her ride fell through because she knew how much I needed her to be there that day. And she brought me a can of Coke, too. So you know me. That's always a treat. Number 2, I was feeling a little bit blue last week. Actually, all week. Still struggling with it today, which I'll talk to you about later. But I posted a message about it on Facebook. I don't know what comes over me sometimes. But the wonder and beauty in it was I received like 40 messages of love and support. Over several days. That really lifted my spirits, really cheered me up and cheered me on. I have a home office where I work 90% of the week, and Friday afternoon, Nancy, who was taking care of my mother Friday, came up with an unexpected cup of coffee. My mom's cat, Regina, comes to my office regularly throughout the day and rubs up against my legs because she wants attention, she wants to be loved and to give love. And that's always a great, I tend to you can ask the caretakers, I won't move from my office chair sometimes for 8 hours. And just working. And so she gets me to go up because I have to go to another room so that I can pet her. It's a long story, but anyway, so she's very good for me. At the prayer circle on Friday evening, Chris here? He met me at my car in the parking lot and offered his assistance. He carried some really heavy stuff in for me while I got my mom and her walker out of the car and into the church. And then 8 beautiful souls joined me in prayer on Friday night. So that was really, really special. And then Chris helped me get my stuff and my mom back into the car after the circle was done. And Jill and Pat invited me and my mom to join them for a bite to eat. After the prayer circle on Friday evening, my favorite food, of course, Chinese. And they waited in the dark parking lot after we left the restaurant to be sure Mom and I got in the car, which is a big process if you have an elderly parent with a walker. They stayed there and made sure I was safe, which I can't tell you how important it is to me. On Saturday morning, Mom's caretaker, Jean Marie, she's here. Oh, my caretakers are here. Who's taking care of Mom? I know. It's Zach's morning. Okay, Zach. So Jean Marie was there to help me after I gave Mom her shower so I could get back to work for my afternoon SEE classes. She took over, and that was great. I have wonderful classes, SEE classes Saturday afternoon, 9 people in the Bible class and 7 in the prosperity class. And Rachel Douglas unexpectedly joined us, which really lifted my heart. Aww. She calls me Mama B.
I couldn't stay away.
I'm so glad. And then I couldn't get the coffee machine to work. I had gone down 2-3 times, and Tim Smith back there said, hey, let me see if I can help. Went down and fixed it. And Mom's caretaker again, Jean Marie, stayed late on Saturday so that I could go up to the ICU, the intensive care unit at UMass, and visit a loved one that is so important to me. Who was there, and so she was willing to stay into the evening hours, way beyond what I had her scheduled for. You know, that was part of what made, I'm just going to do a sidetrack here, such a difficult week, because a very, very close family friend, his mother was my godmother, so I called my godbrother. We grew up together, was in a terrible motorcycle accident. Last Saturday night, came out of the coma on Wednesday, and, you know, still day-to-day in ICU. So, you know, that certainly brings everything into perspective in your life. Here's a guy who, when I was 18 years old, I know this is going to sound sort of incestuous, but it's not. He was my godbrother, you know, asked me to marry him. And he's 8 years older than me. He was 26 at the time. I was 18. He had just served, you know, time over in Vietnam. Much more grown up than me at the time, but his mother and his father got married with that age difference. His mother was 18, his father was 26, so he probably thought, oh, but I just was so full of myself at that time, had no clue. Plus I thought of him as a brother, but I enjoyed riding around on his Harley Davidson, that's for sure. And we dated a lot, but you know, I couldn't take that step to marry him at that age. And you know, I went through my own, he got married, his wife died of cancer. He was a grown son. I got married and divorced, and I think of Chip a lot. And here I am now at 54, and he's 62, and holding his hand in ICU. It's just funny how life goes full circle. You know, never stopped loving him, but at 18 had no idea how to appreciate him. So, you know, it's just been a very emotional week. And I know that the universe works in wondrous ways, because when I posted that I was feeling a little bit blue, I have to note this. I don't know, I was feeling down because we're having a little bit of financial challenges here at the church, and we're going to have to make adjustments with the staff positions and salaries. I know that sounds like a big deal. So I posted that I was just feeling blue. Am I making a difference to anyone? What does it really matter? You know, that kind of thing. And Chip's brother-in-law, Dave Lux, posted on it, in a sense, get a grip. This is what happened to Chip. And so as soon as I read that, of course, I called and I'm like, what's going on? And if I hadn't have posted, I can tell you, if I hadn't have posted that feeling a little bit blue message, I would never have known about Chip. That's how the universe works. I mean, they weren't going to call me, you know, about that. Very unlikely. Last time I saw Chip was at his mom's funeral. I did the funeral. So it's not like we stay in close contact now. All right, that was my side note on that. So Jean Marie stayed. She stayed so that I could go and be with Chip. Then when I got home last night, after seeing Chip, and I found out that a neighbor had brought us a bag of fresh vegetables from their garden. And Mom, as the caretakers know, usually likes to stay up until 11 o'clock or midnight when I have to be working the next day. And by some grace of God, she went to bed early last night. I was like, she was tired when I got home at 9:30. Thank you, Mommy. And then one more thing, which was so cool this morning. I always post the daily word on our Facebook group page. And what's the daily word today? Student of life. I am always learning. That's what this whole process has been about, folks. That's what this book has been about, doing these experiments. I was just like, this is perfect. The perfect daily word. Oh, man. I meant to ask you to turn that thing off when I said everything about Chip.
Okay, I will.
Can you edit it?
I will edit.
Because they're all on Facebook, and you put it on Facebook. That whole family. Cecily and Sally and all his sisters. I don't want him to know that I'm so goofy.
I think the secret's out.
I know, I meant to say turn that off and then turn it back on, and I forgot. But you know, it's all right if they read it. They know I love Chip. Okay, so now we're going to get, if anybody else did the lab report, the other lab reports. Do you want to run around and do it? That would be great. No, she doesn't want to do that. It's okay, no problem. Alfredo. Oh, Kathy.
Yeah, he's gonna take.
Okay.
Okay.
Any lab reports?
Any lab reports?
Oh!
She always gets
Wow,
excited
we
when
got one
somebody
right away.
starts it rolling.
Oh, okay. I like start getting things rolling.
Oh,
And
wait a
I
minute.
have to turn it on.
Okay,
There's 2 buttons on the bottom.
Okay. Techno. Now try it. I don't know.
Hello, hello. No.
No.
I just talk.
Okay. There we go. You don't hear me. You don't hear me a mic that's not on, Rachel.
All right, mine's going to be on September 23rd, which is my birthday. Turned 61. And my children just did a wonderful birthday party for me. And my son was there, which is a blessing because my son doesn't always show up. They cooked a nice meal. I have 10 birthday cards hanging up in my kitchen because I have so many. I was so blessed. I don't remember getting so many so many cards. And I got all the birthday thank you for everybody that said happy birthday on Facebook, and I was just really blessed. And then I got a surprise present. I needed some art supplies, and I got a nice birthday present with enough money to get what I needed, so I'm very thankful for that. And I'm also thankful, it's within those 24 hours, but it's also been happening for a while, that my paradigms have been truly changing, and I am so blessed. And every day I am so thankful for everything. And so when BJ posted it, I said, what, are you kidding? You have been such a blessing to me. I came here 5.5 years ago, and she is such a blessing. She doesn't realize how much her sermons and her dedication and her consistency in her love for us, that yes, you do make a difference, a big difference, and thank you.
Why not? Why not? Why not?
Well, this past week, I just finished a vacation at the very beginning. I have a friend who was going through a serious health issue, and, despite her own problems, her inability to walk, and, every day she has lupus and does not know what she's feeling like. I've been praying for her every day. She complimented me, despite her own problems, on maybe I don't deserve this, but about my singing voice. And I'm taking a little break from the Greater Auburn Chorus because I just want a little bit quiet, taking a break from performing. And while I was at Panera in Shrewsbury having breakfast, last Tuesday I ran to the pianist from the group, and I had a couple nice words for her, only to find out that one of their star singers is gonna miss the season because she had surgery, so it gave me an opportunity to pray for her. Later on that day, I helped a pedestrian cross a dangerous intersection, and I bought a scarf at a store where a tax was charged because the cashier said that's an accessory, but since it's an actual wearable, it's maybe small, she agreed to take it off. It's been a lot of really small stuff, one after the other, but it has snowballed, it has blossomed into something that was really, really good, that made this a wonderful week for me.
That's great. Thank you, Linda. Here you go, my dear.
Hi, everybody. I don't know if you all know, but I actually happen to be the youngest of 11 kids. And
Whoa, blessed be.
bless my mom. But although I'm one of 11, there's only about 5 of us that really stay in contact with each other. And unfortunately, one of my older siblings last week fell and broke his arm. And I've been lifting him up in prayer all week, and it just happened to be a big week where there were birthdays and whatnot. But the thing that I noticed throughout the week is, of the 5 of us that talk, we all had contacted each other. And my brothers growing up were very, very self-conscious about saying the words, "I love you." And if anybody knows me and my family, I would always end, and I still to this day with every one of them, end my conversation with, "I love you." And this week, all 4 of my brothers who I spoke with on different days ended their conversations with, "I love you." So that was my big special blessing for the week, and it happened every other day. I think I spoke with one of my brothers for something different, and they actually, without even realizing, they went, "We finally did it." So that was my blessing for the week.
Oh, yeah.
Great story.
No coincidences.
No. Anybody else?
I've had a lot of people offer me support, and Friday when I was paying attention, I had a business meeting, and I went there, and this executive went out of his way to help me, and I invited him to go to lunch, and he brought an expert that I needed from his side to the luncheon. And at the end of it, and I was really nervous about the whole day, and at the end of it he said, you've been so helpful to us, I'm going to buy lunch. In my line of work, the customer never buys, the prospect never buys lunch, and so he offered to pick up the tab for lunch, and did, and insisted actually. And then we went back to his office, and there was someone I needed to talk to, and he went out of his way to walk around this big building and find this person for me. And the person wasn't there. And whereas most people would have said, sorry, I tried, he wouldn't give up. He asked me if I could stay, and he gave me a place to work, and he left a note for the person I needed to meet, and came back to put me in a place to work, and then came back a half an hour later with the person I needed to meet in tow, and said he's agreed to spend a few minutes with you so you can talk to him about what you need to talk to him about. So I was amazed at how well I was treated, but I'm treated this way a lot. I just don't notice it enough. And then I went down. I had 4 tickets. I went on a trip a month ago, and my Easy Pass credit card had expired that I had that account on, so I got all these violations from running through Easy Pass. And I got them in the mail, and so I had over $200 worth of citations. I called right away, and I updated my account and everything, but I kept this, you gotta file the appeals or you still get the tickets. So I never, of course they sat on my desk for over a month. And I went down the Mass Pike, I said I'm gonna go in person, and I went to where the state police were, where the Easy Pass office, unbeknownst to me, used to be. And I went in there and I'm like, geez, I don't see any signs. I pulled off, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to pull off where I pulled off, am I gonna get yelled at, in trouble? And I went to try to go to the door, and some guy comes around in a yellow truck, And I'm like, oh, great, here I'm gonna get yelled at now. And he's like, hey, are you looking to drop something off? And this guy just exuberantly got out of his truck and couldn't wait to help me. He's like, can I, oh, the office has changed. He said, do you know where to go? Do you need to follow me over there? And I said, no, it was really kind of you to drive over here. And he drove across the parking lot, not to berate me, which is kind of what I had in my head, but to like, just effusively try to help. And then I walked out of there and I went across and I talked to this nice young lady named Erin at the registry, or at the Easy Pass store, and I got rid of all my citations and I only had to pay $1 to the state of Delaware for crossing the bridge. The rest of it was all taken care of. So it was really nice. Thanks.
Oh, good.
Nice.
Anybody else? Good news reports? All right, well, that was pretty good. Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing. So now the million-dollar question, why did we spend so much time on this book? Why did we do this? For those of you who did. Well, for me, I know that it was life-changing. I don't know about for some of you, to actually take all of these 5 core beliefs of unity that we talked about, and they were, remember how related, all the experiments related to one of the core beliefs of unity. What are those beliefs? What's number 1? There's God is. That's it. I always say there's one presence and one power, right, in the universe and in my life. God, the good, omnipotent, but it's God is. And the second, core belief is that you and I am a part of God. We are divine.
Sweet.
I know, she's got it. I know there's that short version of it. You're giving it to me, right? And then the third core belief is, I think, therefore I am. I think being, the use of universal laws, the thought of the law of mind action, thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. The 4th core belief. I pray. That we have that direct connection through prayer and meditation. And 5th? I do. Yeah, it's the practical application. It's applying these 2 principles in our lives. So, like I said, we can sit and talk about this week after week after week, but unless we take it and start to practice it, and as Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, said, he looked at spirituality and religion as a science. He said, if you can't test it and prove it, it's not true. He said, every single principle that we receive from the Master that I'm sharing with you now, you should be able to prove in your life or toss it out. So here we have this incredible opportunity with this book that was so simple, so direct, giving us these little time frames to really experiment with these huge universal principles. Because if I'm in unity and I'm not living this stuff, what does any of it really mean? Is my life better because I'm a Unity True student? Do I see a difference in my life? Do I have more health of body? Am I prospered and abundant and receiving the wealth that is my divine inheritance? Are my relationships more harmonious and fulfilling, bringing me joy and happiness? And do I experience peace of mind? One of the things I say to folks in Unity, it doesn't mean that things aren't going to still happen, stuff is still going to happen. But how do you move through it? How do you perceive it? How do you see it? How do you move through it? How do you experience it? Are you in a different place than when you began coming to Unity? Are you still feeling like a victim? Are you still feeling poor, unhealthy, in stressful relationships, in crisis? Those are the kind of things to look at. And so for me, taking these experiments, we had 9 do-it-yourself energy experiences that isn't just a one-time thing, folks. Every single one of these experiments you can be living daily. You can every single day look for the evidence of the field of potentiality and demand it. Demand the evidence. Make yourself known to me, God. Every day you can be doing that. Every day you can be drawing into your life exactly what it is you're looking for. But you got to get clear on what you're looking for. If you're looking for the bad and the ugly and the stressful, that's what you're drawing into your life. So it's like waking up to what it is that you're looking for in life. Because remember that second experiment, you're going to see exactly what you look for. So is it going to be green cars, purple feathers? How about love and fun and joy and purpose? What are you looking for? So this is stuff we can do every day, right? To know that we are beings of energy, not just flesh and blood and bones. To know that we're more than what we appear to be. We don't have to have our wires to prove that. Our, coat hangers. But to know that your thoughts have such power. I can see what I'm spitting. Because of the light. And abracadabra, where's, I don't think Davina's here today, but, to know that we can use our thoughts to have what we want expand in our lives by focusing on it. I don't want to focus on the appearance of the financial challenge right now, as Davina, the co-president, is instructing us. Focus on what is true. And what is true? We live in an abundant, unlimited universe. God is the source of our supply, not each other. Right? So we can do that every day. We have the choice. We can decide to turn within for guidance instead of running around and getting everybody's opinion and asking for advice and what should I do. To know that you have within you the greatest teacher, the wisest sage who will guide you every step of the way. What are some of the other things that we got from these experiments that we can take into daily life? What was the superhero about? Was that growing the plants? I can't remember now. The thoughts. I should remember, right? But, with the plant thing, no, look at with just your thoughts alone, you've got plants to grow faster on one side than the other side. Can you imagine what you did if you started to direct your thoughts in a laser-like manner for the things that you want to grow and develop in your life? Right? I'm just going to take a peek. Oh yeah, superhero was impact matter. Oh, our body. Wouldn't you think I'd forget the body one? Of course I would forget the body one. Have I stopped blessing my food and loving my food? You bet I have, and loving my body. That's what I have. But we can do this every day, right? Every day we can be conscious. In Buddhism, such a focus is on mindfulness. To be mindful of every single thing you do, to be awake. It's all about being awake. So when I sit down and I have food, to bless it, to give thanks for it, to be aware of where it's come from and that it's going into my body to nourish me and to help me to express my full potential. What a different way than cramming the food in, half unconscious, so you lose track of how many chips you eat. I know you're not all like me, but, just being awake. Just being awake. And then, didn't you love last week's, the 101 Dalmatians? Can we do that every day? Know that we're entangled with one another? That non-locality physics principle of the fact that if you've ever been in my presence just once, we're connected forever. Certainly experiencing that, in the example I gave to you earlier with Chuck. Life will bring us back together in so many ways. People come and go to this church, and I realize that that's life. But I also realize that I'm always, always connected to them. We had John Gove, I had a conversation with this week, I didn't talk about that, where he's got this job and he's out on the road and we need to send blessings to him and he's not gonna be able to be here like he used to be. Can't be here on Sundays, can't be on the board, can't serve as treasurer. You know, but I know that we're always hard.